It's the end of a long shift, the clock is ticking past quitting time, your boots are dusty, your shoulders ache, and your mind is already halfway home. Then it happens, a small task, a last-minute request, a dangling wire, a loose board, a piece of gear that won't take a second to fix. You think, I'll just do this one more thing. But in the world of workplace safety, that thought, so innocent, so common, is a decision point. And sometimes it's a turning point, the one that divides routine from regret. Let me tell you about Dan. Dan was a warehouse supervisor, meticulous in his role. He trained his team well, followed protocols. He had a spotless safety record. But one night, as they wrapped up a 12-hour inventory shift, a pallet of boxed materials tipped awkwardly during staging. It was minor, just one box torn at the edge. Dan waved off the forklift and stepped in to fix it himself. He didn't want to call anyone back. "I'll just restack it real quick," he said. What he didn't see was the shifted center of gravity. The bottom row had warped slightly from humidity, creating a lean not visible from the front. As Dan reached to shift the top layer, the entire column gave way. 8 boxes, each over 40 pounds, came down on his back and neck. The injury left him hospitalized for weeks, multiple fractures. A career paused, all because of one more task. This isn't rare. In fact, studies show that over 60% of late shift injuries occur within the last hour of scheduled work. And more than half involve tasks outside of the worker's formal responsibility. We convince ourselves it's noble, efficient, a way to get ahead. But rushing through end-of-day tasks increases the risk of misjudgment by 30%. Not because we're reckless, but because we're tired. Cognitive fatigue isn't just about being sleepy. It's about diminished awareness, slower reaction time, and increased susceptibility to bias. At the end of a shift, we're more likely to underestimate risk, skip steps, and overestimate our capacity to just get it done. Take the story of Leah, a chemical technician in the UK. Her shift was almost over when she realized she'd forgotten to log one of the reagent levels during her routine round. Rather than wait for the next crew, who were fully briefed to handle it, she decided to do a quick top-up. The container she reached for looked similar, but it wasn't the right one. No double check, no label scan. Just a few minutes more, she thought. The mixture reacted violently. She inhaled the fumes before she could reach the shutoff. It took months to regain full lung function. A simple error, a rushed choice, a task she wasn't even required to finish. Leah now trains others in chemical handling. Her opening line is always the same: if you're doing it just to get it off your conscience, stop. Safety isn't a to-do list, it's a decision every time. And then there's the construction site in Chile. A structural welder was asked to inspect a beam before heading out. It was a verbal ask, not formal, not logged. "Can you take a quick look before tomorrow?" The worker agreed. He climbed without full fall arrest. The safety anchor points hadn't been moved back yet, and the safety monitor had already left the site. One slip on a dusty steel flange, that's all it took. He fell nearly 4 meters. His harness was on, but not clipped in, because he wasn't planning to stay long, just a quick look. The report later showed this type of unplanned, off-the-clock task was among the top 3 contributors to fall-related incidents in the region. So why does this keep happening? Because urgency blurs lines. We mix responsibility with pride. We want to be helpful, to be seen as team players, to end the day on a high note. But that mindset, unchecked, invites pressure to override procedure. Safety cultures that thrive don't shame people for stepping up, but they do teach them when to stop. At a manufacturing plant in Sweden, they implemented what's now called the shutdown rule. No one, regardless of rank, is allowed to take on additional tasks within the last 15 minutes of their shift, without a second person confirming and assisting. It sounds rigid, but since its introduction, end-of-day injuries dropped by 48%. A similar protocol at a Canadian rail maintenance yard requires workers to radio into dispatch if they're staying on site to complete a task. Not to seek permission, but to document awareness. That simple act, a 10-second radio check, has been credited with preventing 2 serious near misses in the past year alone. Systems like these don't just protect bodies, they protect judgment. They put friction in the path of impulse. And sometimes, that's all it takes to stop a cascade. Because just one more task is rarely just that. It's a deviation. It's a decision made under fatigue. It's a risk often made in isolation. And that's what makes it dangerous. So if you're ever in that moment, boots laced, gear half off, brain halfway home, and someone asks, "Hey, can you just..." Pause. Ask yourself, am I clear-headed? Am I authorized? Am I rushing to prove something, or am I actually the right person for this task right now? Because safety isn't about finishing the list, it's about coming back tomorrow. Let's talk. Have you ever found yourself in this situation? Did you stop or did something go wrong? Drop your story in the comments. Your near miss might be the wake up someone else needs. These are the most dangerous thoughts in safety. Respect the shift, respect your limits, respect the stop, stay alert, stay grounded, stay safe.